What's up, everyone, and welcome to NBA 2K17, the full game. I finally have it. It arrived very late in the day, and then I spent a few hours installing it, and I had a couple other things going on. But we are getting into our MyLeague here, and we are going to be using the New Orleans Pelicans. It came down to the Pelicans and the Miami Heat. I'll get into a little bit of my reasoning as we go along, but let us set up this MyLeague. Let's get into it. So there was no option for me to use a custom roster for my league, as there usually is in the past. I don't know why they took that feature out, or if I just didn't see it, or if there's a certain way you have to do it. A lot of the three-point ratings are screwed up right now. I don't know if they're going to update the roster anytime soon, or if there would be a way for me to implement a roster in my league. If that's an option, let me know. I'm not 100% sure. I thought I would have to restart the league anyway, because usually you have to insert a draft class, or usually you have to wait for the draft class to come out, I should say. But according to Arios on Twitter, I read that you actually can institute maybe not institute, maybe implement, that's the word I'm looking for, implement the draft class during the season, and it will just replace all the rookies that were already used, like the auto-generated rookies. So if that is the case, that would be a very nice feature. I'd be very appreciative of that. We are going to turn trade approval on. I had to turn it on last year because the trades got really ridiculous. They would trade like Blake Griffin for D'Angelo Russell, stupid stuff like that. I'm going to start out on Hall of Fame difficulty, and if there are any good sliders for my league, let me know, and I will definitely download them off of 2K Share. So we are going to be going with the Pelicans. I actually overshot them a little bit, and mainly my reason was they actually already have a piece to build around in Anthony Davis, who is a 90 overall on this roster, as you will see in a second. And I could really blow up the team around him, build around him, and the Heat really didn't have that guy. Hassan Whiteside's nice, Justice Winslow's nice, but they're really complementary pieces. And Anthony Davis is a superstar, and that was what kind of factored into my decision, on top of just other things. That was really a deciding factor, though. So the only things I really changed so they weren't automated were the draft, combine, pre-draft workout, and prospect scouting. And that's really, I just turn those off anyway. Usually I don't like to do any of that stuff. I'll just let the computer do it. It doesn't matter to me. I know who the best players in the draft class are going to be anyway. And now we're going to go on ahead and take a look at the roster, and it is pretty ugly. Anthony Davis, Tyreke Evans are the only two players over 80 overall. Buddy Hield is a pretty good overall, 76. I thought that was a good starting point. He has pretty good ratings too. Jrue Holiday had a pretty good overall, but there are a lot of very mediocre role players on not all that great contracts who don't have very good skill sets, or skill sets that I would like. Although I will talk about Chick Diallo in a few moments, because he is somebody that I'm very intrigued by on the bottom of this roster. We are going to be starting off the season with Jrue Holiday, Buddy Hield, Tyreke Evans, Anthony Davis, and Omer Ashik as our starting lineup. And then we have Quincy Pondexter, Terrence Jones, Etuan Moore, Alexei Achinka, Langston Galloway, and Chick Diallo getting minutes off the bench. They wanted me to give minutes to Solomon Hill, but he cannot shoot, he cannot create his own shot, and he's not that much better of a defender than Quincy Pondexter. So we are going to be giving Pondexter some minutes, and we're going to leave Solomon Hill off. We had too many wing players, so that's what the rotation is going to look like to start out the year. Here is a look at the contracts, and I actually think some of them are pretty fair. A lot of them are not very good, though. Omer Ashik and Solomon Hill are two of our highest paid players, and they are role players at best. And then there are a few players that I think are mildly overpaid, but I'm willing to pay the price for, like Chick Diallo is making a pretty good price. Etuan Moore is pretty handsomely paid, but a lot of the guys are on very fair contracts, so it's not like they're in the worst cap situation in the world. We can easily get rid of some of those contracts. We also have three expirings, three people that we most likely plan on trading. Jrue Holiday, very injury prone, not the greatest point guard in the world. He's still young, still has decent potential, but I don't think he has a spot on this team. Terrence Jones, not really going to turn into anything much for us, really just a trading asset at this point. And Tyreke Evans, I think I would keep him the most out of the three, but I think he's going to get expensive. He does have a lot of positional versatility, even though he doesn't have the widest skill set in the world. He can play three positions. He can pretty much stuff the stat sheet for you. Not the greatest shooter, but he does have while he does have a limited skill set, he does what he does very well. So there is that. But with that in mind, I am going to show you guys some trade ideas. Now, these are just trade finder results. I probably wouldn't do the trades as they are shown on your screen, but they are just baselines, pretty much involving young guys that I like or think can be developed. Denzel Valentine doesn't look like he has the greatest potential in this game, but he does have positional versatility and a pretty wide skill set. Good shooter, great passer. He could probably be turned into a good rotational piece. At the worst, I think that he would turn out into something good. And I think for Tyreke Evans, that would be a pretty valuable trade to get that out of him. We would have to take on Robin Lopez's contract, but like I said, these are just samples. They would not probably be the final deals. There would probably be different things thrown into them. Here's another one where we would be dumping Terrence Jones and Drew Holiday to the Jazz for Trey Lyles. I don't think we're necessarily getting the best value out of this trade, but my big goal was to play 1 in 4 out, kind of like the Pistons, and move Anthony Davis to a center where he could like rebound and block shots and really be the big guy in our offense. And Trey Lyles can stretch the floor. He doesn't really take away any of the size advantage we would have from moving Anthony Davis to center and playing somebody else in that spot. So he would be a valuable thing, a valuable piece from that perspective, but I would definitely want to add more to that trade. And the final idea that came up in the trade finder that I was intrigued by was Drew Holiday and Terrence Jones for Ish Smith and Stanley Johnson. Ish Smith, valuable rotation guy, good point guard, good solid backup on a great contract. And Stanley Johnson, he's a good D&3 guy, small forward. He could be much like Buddy Hield, just probably score a little bit less, and we could stick him on our best defensive, or the other team's top offensive authority, be our top defensive guy. The only thing that concerns me is on this roster, his three-point shooting is an F. I'm going to have to take a look a little bit deeper at how the three-point shooting, if it's going to change, because a lot of the ratings are very strange right now. Like a lot of really good three-point shooters have really bad three-point ratings, or what the deal is with that, I'm going to have to take a deeper look into, but that will become clearer over time. If he does get a buff and his three-point shooting solid, I might be more interested in acquiring him. I definitely think these trades are just ideas of players that I would go after. They're not to be taken seriously, but I think there's a lot of good stuff in these 3 trades, and there could definitely be more if I probably bunch together a few different players. So short story, nobody's very safe on this team outside of Anthony Davis. Buddy Hield I would consider untouchables. I really want to develop Buddy Hield. I think he can be a great NBA, maybe not a star, but a very good complementary player. Excellent shooting already for a rookie. I think it was B inside, B plus mid, and B three-point shooting. I really wish that was a little bit higher because he's much better three-point than mid-range shooter, but I think he can be developed into something very good. Anthony Davis is already a superstar. Outside of that, it's really free reigns. And I said I'd talk about Cheick Diallo. He is a player that I don't really want to develop into a star. I don't think he has that level of potential. But he can be the Bismack Biyombo type guy that we had in the Knicks MyLeague last year. The guy who just grabs rebounds, blocks shots, plays crazy, gets a lot of big plays on defense and dunks and offensive rebounds. He could really be the garbage guy off of the bench. We could develop him into that. He already has really good rebounding ratings. I think it's B plus or is it A minus? It's something like that. And I think he could really be that good third big man who could play center to maybe alleviate Anthony Davis, move him to the power forward spot. And he's only 6'9", sure, but I think Bismack Biyombo is only 6'9". He's just he could be a big energy guy for us, and that's what I want to develop him from that perspective. But if I get a trade that's for somebody like, say, D'Angelo Russell, and the big deciding point is whether or not I give up Cheick Diallo, then I'll definitely give him up. But he's a guy that I'd like to hang on to. I wouldn't consider him untouchable, though. Outside of that little group, I think everybody's free on this team to be traded in any deal for anything that I might be intrigued by. There's really nobody safe for their roster spot, especially the 3 on expiring contracts. I'm definitely going to be looking into trading them, and I'm using these kind of trades as a baseline. I'm not going to make any trades until the trade deadline because of the possibility of me having to reset this MyLeague at some point. I don't want to get too involved and have to lose all the progress of the trades I made. So anyway, that's going to do it for this introduction to the New Orleans Pelicans franchise. I am kind of busy this weekend. I'll try to have a video out either Saturday or Sunday, as I'm putting this up on Friday. Well, actually, I'm rendering this on Friday. I don't know if it's going to go up Friday or Saturday. I'll try to have a video out this weekend. No promises on that, but if not, I will definitely try to get one out on Monday. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like this video and subscribe for more New Orleans Pelicans MyLeague. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone.